Okay, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon, the day after the first preseason game of the year. And as I like to do very frequently, we are going to take a look at Pro Football Focus and see what they think of how the Seahawks fared yesterday. We're going to start with the offense. Now, keep in mind, this is the first year where Pro Football Focus has new staff. It's got new people working for it, and there are some people wondering, well, what does this mean? How good is their work going to be compared to how good it was before? Was it good before? Is it going to be better now? Is it going to be worse now? So Pro Football Focus is kind of going through a little bit of a, you could call it an evolution this season, and things may end up being a little bit different, not in terms of what they produce, but in terms of process. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So we're going to start with the offense, like I said. And there are some big surprises to me immediately when you take a look at the grades report just on the face of it. And you can see a couple guys at the top here that didn't really play that much. Eric Saubert was by far our highest graded player on offense, but it was just 12 snaps, mostly because he had a really good run blocking score. So take that for what it's worth. And Brock Lampy on 3 snaps, so not meaningful really at all. Although Brock Lampy did actually have one of our big highlights from yesterday's game. He had a really nice block near the goal line, but he was graded very well also, so that's good. But after that, you get into some offensive linemen, and it's not offensive linemen I would have expected would have done very well yesterday. And in fairness, if you take a look at the way they break out the grading specifically, it makes a little bit more sense, but I'm still a little bit surprised. These are the guys that Pro Football Focus thinks played really well for us, like Christian Haynes, who, in fairness, they did give a terrible pass blocking grade to, which I thought reflected reality, but his run blocking grade was so good, they actually thought he was one of our best players. I guess that might have some validity to it, although personally I thought that some of the things that Haynes was doing out there in terms of pass blocking was enough to kind of make his whole overall performance pretty bad. But they did give him the 3rd highest grade on the offense. And then you've got Federico Maranguez, the 3rd string center, who they thought played a really good all-around game, which granted, the offensive line is a unit that works together, and just because the unit doesn't play well doesn't mean every piece in it plays poorly. But I did not think Moranguez stood out like Pro Football Focus seems to. And then you've got the really egregious one to me. You've got Logan Brown here, 67.9, our 5th best player on offense. Now, mostly because of his run blocking, which, again, I'm a little bit more amenable to because they did give him a below replacement level grade on pass protection. But with 3 penalties committed, there's no way he should be at 67.9. 3 penalties in 24 snaps alone could be dragging you way below that. So I'm a little bit surprised by that, and there's a part of me that thinks that can't possibly reflect reality. And I don't know if this is just the new crew at Pro Football Focus. I don't know if this is just he did something so incredibly amazing on those other snaps that I just didn't notice. But you can't tell me, as bad as our offense was yesterday, you can't tell me Logan Brown was one of the 5 best players. That doesn't pass the smell test to me. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. Number 6, you got Mason Richmond, which I can get behind that. Mason Richmond, I thought, played pretty good, and I could see him being one of our better players on offense yesterday. They gave Drew Lock an okay grade as well, which I think reflects his game. He did miss a couple of throws, but overall, I thought he played all right. Kalani's next up here, which, again, sure, I can dig that. Justin Jones, 1 snap. Jake Bobo got an okay score here, mostly dragged down because of the penalty, I think, which, again, I think that's probably fair, which is why it also confuses me why Logan Brown didn't really get punished for 3 penalties in 24 snaps. But yeah, I thought Bobo played fine. Bobby Hart, 41 snaps. They gave him an above replacement level grade, mostly because of run blocking, which I mean, I guess, but definitely didn't think he played above replacement level last night. So right away, there's a lot of stuff here that just doesn't really jive with my viewing experience last night. You had Bo Stevens, who they gave a dirt poor pass block grade, and then they gave him a really good run block grade, and they averaged that out to pretty close to replacement level, which, okay, I like I said, I saw some things from Stevens that I liked, and I saw some things that I didn't like. Cable Do, they also did a, semi-passable grade 2. Nick Collar up, kind of just blase. Josh Jones, same thing, sure. Montori Foster, the drop and the penalty really hurt him, but I thought he was one of our best offensive players, and I don't see how you could really argue against that. I know Pro Football Focus is trying to look at other things than just the stats, and they're trying to go per snap, but I can't say I thought Montori Foster was replacement level yesterday. And then you get down to the guys who they thought were below replacement level, like Amari Kite, sure. Oluwatimi, can't say that was my experience. I thought Oluwatimi was one of our better players. Elijah Arroyo, probably getting punished a little bit because of the blocking, although they did not give him a very good passing play grade either, which I don't know how I feel about that. Emmanuel Henderson, small sample size. Ricky White, not much. Milrow, definitely punished him. I think the fumble really hurt him, but there were some other bad plays too, so okay. I think he was probably a little bit better than 52.9. Brady Russell, pretty low here as well, only 8 snaps. Nick Vanette, pretty low. TJ Harden, yeah, I don't know if he was this bad, but I didn't see anything that made me really think he was worth keeping around. Velez Jones, very poor. Cody White also, the penalty probably really dinged him, but just overall not good. So, not really matching up with my initial watch of the game. I will say that, if you take a look at this. I think that this is, I think there's some stuff here that I'm just not going to agree with, and I think there's some stuff here that is probably just wrong. But again, I don't do this segment every week after Seahawks games because I think they're going to get everything right. I do it because it's interesting, and I do think they have valid things to say, even if I don't agree with their findings. Quarterback specific stuff. You can see Locke and Milrow here. No big time throws for either quarterback, and also no turnover worthy plays, which isn't surprising because both guys basically took no chances the whole game. Locke went deep a couple of times, but missed really badly. Other than that, it was just keep things very safe, keep things close to the line of scrimmage. And you can see that Milrow was holding onto the ball way too long. That's the main takeaway to me here. Locke getting the ball out in 2.6 seconds. Milrow, time to throw was 3.72. That's, I think, your main problem, and that's the main reason why Locke was graded okay and Milrow was graded poorly. And the fumble. The fumble didn't help either. The passing chart also tells a pretty compelling story. Milrow never pushed the ball deep down the field. Everything was close to the line of scrimmage or a little bit intermediate, whereas, sorry about that, but Locke did try to push it down the field a little bit, but again, pretty inaccurate when he tried to do so. Not really much to take away from these charts other than it was an unremarkable day for the offense overall and an unremarkable day for the quarterbacks just in general. Receiving grade stuff, I'm not really interested in the grading here because there isn't really a lot to look at, but I wanted to look at our deployment of players in the slot, and you can see that there was a lot of variety here. Jake Bobo actually led the team in slot snaps with Arroyo 1 behind him. So you can see that with Arroyo, we are going to use him in line. He did line up in line 10 times in this game, but he also lined up in the slot 10 times, which does reflect the fact that he is more of a move tight end and somebody that we view as being more of a receiver, which is to be expected because that's what he is. Cody White also got 8 snaps in the slot compared to 12 as a wide receiver. We saw a little bit of Ricky White in the middle as well, and Montori Foster got some snaps in the slot, but almost everything he got was as a wideout, which is, I think, very encouraging. So that's the main data to take away from this set of numbers, I think. And yeah, that's really I think that's really the main takeaway. Obviously, you had the one drop from Foster, but we all knew that. That was a pretty clear drop. Not good, but he played really well otherwise in my mind, so I'm not down on him or anything like that. Rushing direction. And this is going to be one of those weeks where we don't really get a story. We don't really get much of impression from this. If you take a look at the rushing by direction, everything is just kind of eh. The only thing that I guess you could really point out is that running off left tackle, which is between the tight end on the left side and whoever the left tackle is from play to play, was quite good on 2 snaps, so whatever. And running off the right side, off right tackle and off right end, was pretty bad. Other than that, everything else was just kind of like not really enough data and not really informing us of anything specific or any trends. Everything was just kind of like, it's okay. Can't really derive much from this. Most of our rushing production was on quarterback scrambles, which, I mean, Milrow's in the game. That does make a good deal of sense, but that's also not really going to help us when the regular season starts because we're not going to have Jalen Milrow out there at quarterback. It's going to be guys like Sam Darnold that don't scramble as much and have less to offer in that area. All right, so moving on from the rushing direction report, offensive line stuff, pass blocking. They actually thought a lot of players played well in terms of pass blocking, and you can also take a look at their hard numbers here. Beyond just the grading itself, which I think is always a little bit more interesting because these are a little more objective. Cable Do clean, Moranguez clean. Remember, Moranguez and Oluwatimi are centers, though, so them being clean is a little bit less impactful. But Cable Do, Moranguez, and Oluwatimi clean. Richmond had 1 hurry allowed. And remember, some of these numbers are going to be a little bit unfair to the offensive linemen because Milrow was holding onto the ball so long, like we just saw. He had time to throw of, what was it, 3.7 seconds. Josh Jones, clean as well. And then you get down here, these are the guys who got a little bit more beat up. Logan Brown had the 1 hurry allowed. Bobby Hart had the most damage on him, 2 sacks allowed, 2 hurries allowed. So he was definitely, in terms of the raw numbers, the worst performer of the day in terms of pass pro. Christian Haynes allowed a hurry. And if it's the play I was thinking of, it was a play where he just completely ignored his man until he was past him. It was a really bad rep. Mari Kite allowed a pressure as well. And Bo Stevens allowed the 1 quarterback hit. So not excessive in terms of the numbers, but you can see how badly they were punished in their grade. And that is not terrible overall when you take a look at what was actually allowed by the pass protection when you consider the fact that half the snaps or so were protecting Jalen Milrow. Run blocking, there's actually, again, a lot of pretty positive stuff here for whatever that's worth. That's why Logan Brown came out looking better than I would have expected. Christian Haynes came out looking pretty good. Really high zone block grade, which, I mean, hey, that's valuable in this offense, right? Bo Stevens also comes out pretty good. You can also see, if you look at a guy like Richmond, they did way more zone than gap, but still a decent amount of both, but a healthy amount of zone run blocking in this offense, but a good amount of both. And by the way, for whatever it's worth, and this is going to be worth monitoring going forward, Arroyo did a lot better with his gap than his zone blocking. So, going to keep an eye on that because his ability to block is the main thing with him that's in question, I think. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. We're going to do the defense later. We're going to do this after every game this year. But can't say I really came away from watching that game last night agreeing with what Pro Football Focus thought of our offense specifically. All right, go Hawks. See you guys soon.